So when I think about that,
Hmm.
I'm thinking a lot of teachers say confidence is important. A lot of teachers sell confidence in their programs because confidence is the foundation of all progress, according to a lot of people. But what does it mean to have strong confidence in your business?
I don't know, to be honest. Mike?
It starts with belief. So knowing that you can execute. I think that for many teacherpreneurs is the big fear of the big unknown, right? Like, how am I going to sell? How am I going to get people to follow my social media? How am I going to work up the courage to contact cold leads or people I don't know? And I feel we often talk a lot about this. The only way to build confidence is to do it. So if we think about the first C, and how it connects to the second C, it's confidence is about action for me, right? Like, you feel more confident in your business when you start to do those business processes again and again, when they become routine. Things like making YouTube videos, folks, that's something that I've feel anxious about. But again, we've chatted about this, Leo. It's about fluency, right? As you become familiar with the aspects of content creation,
Yes.
you just become naturally better at it, right? But you have to be patient with yourself.
Mm.
And essentially you have to start, right?
Yeah.
And I think you can't get belief until you do it the first time.
I like that a lot. I fall victim to the YouTube algorithm from time to time, as I'm sure we all do. And I just watched this video yesterday with a guy, and his title of the video was, I asked 100 people to go on a date with me. And the video is him going up and asking 100 people to want to go. And the first 50 or 60 people, they all say no. By the end, he's got about 10 or 11 people that accepted. But do you know what happened over the course of the video?
Oh,
he got better at it.
He got more confident. He got better at it.
Right.
And as a result of getting better at it, he got more confidence.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this is a causation or correlation. It could be a coincidence if we're using all those C's. But at the end of the video, he got better. He got more confidence. To Mike's point, he just got more experience doing it. And then he had some more success. So I'm not a believer that, like, the question is, how do we have confidence in a business? One is by doing, because you're not going to start with confidence. That's just not realistic. Don't wait. Like, this is not going to happen.
That's right. Yeah.
But where you can have confidence, and thank you for going first, because I've got my train of thought. Where you can have confidence is in the thing that you sell, even if you've never sold it before. Because if you don't have confidence in the thing you're selling, what's the point? Right? No one will buy it. And if they do, then they're going to realize it's like a hollow thing. So have confidence in the thing you sell.
But you can only build that confidence if you know exactly what Mike said, who you're helping, if you have a very clear conception of what you want.
It's a bit of a chicken and the egg
Exactly.
situation.
So to sum up with both of you have said, is that what I'm hearing here is that confidence is not attitude. It's a skill. It's something that you build by taking specific, consistent action and seeing. Maybe you won't get like the best results, but you will get some small wins. You get those small wins and you start building that momentum. And that momentum is what propels you into the third C, which is, I think Andrew's going to like this one, which is focused concentration on what it takes
Deep work
to reach that goal. Exactly. What do you guys want to talk about? What do you think?
Focus, concentration.
Concentration, yes.
Systems would be where my brain goes with that one. And not overexerting yourself, because we've all done this and had bad results. I don't think you want to set I'm going to do 8 hours a day and no, that's not going to be conducive to, let me see, to that. But blocking out time to make it, James Clear, Atomic Habits, to make it part of your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be a person who is consistent, does this, and it doesn't become optional. It's on my calendar. And yeah, you can move it around because life happens, but to become a person who, and that in those blocks of time, whatever it is when you're starting, that's what happens. And you do your best in that amount of time, just like you would doing anything else. And then you keep showing up and keep showing up.
Yeah, I definitely would second that the importance of earmarking time, sectioning off portions of your day for specific tasks. Something that Andrew and I chat about a lot all the time. And Andrew, you've talked about this in our Q&A sessions with our TAP members, is the importance of a to-do list. But it's not just having a to-do list, it's how you curate that to-do list. The biggest mistake teachers make when they try to make a to-do list, just individuals overall even, is that they think the longer the list, the better. And what's more important is that you're curating your list in ways where perhaps there are fewer items, and perhaps those items at the top are the easiest, and those items towards the bottom are the most challenging. And not only that, when you get to those final items, that's it. Andrew, you talk a lot about this, so I don't want to steal any of your thunder, but when you get to the bottom of your to-do list, don't look for new things to do. That's the end of your day. That's when you
stand
can rest
up,
your brain.
go for a walk. You're done. Go do something else. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So that's your reward, right?
Okay.
So it's really important to balance sectioning time off, but also prioritize things. Get those easy wins first, because as Leo said, that's where the momentum comes from, right? If you get the first two things done on your to-do list and you just have those other two challenging ones, for most teachers, it's prospecting, it's finding clients, but then you can prioritize those in terms of having a larger chunk of time for them. And then you got to show up. As Andrew said, you just got to show up and execute.
It's one of my favorite C's. Compartmentalize.
Ah, there we go.
I don't think it's on the list of the 7 C's, but we can definitely find. I think that can be a subsection
It's the eighth
of
one.
the third C. It's funny because when you were both talking about that and I was taking some notes, what I'm hearing here from both of you, and just trying to summarize this for the listeners here, is focused concentration has a lot to do with actionable steps. I'm thinking of, Andrew probably recognizes the Pareto principle, where you spend 20% of your time on things that will lead to 80% better outcomes or results. So what is a 20%? How can I spend most of my time on this little thing that will generate more results for me? So if your goal is to launch a course, focus on one step at a time, right? First of all, make sure that you have a clear audience. Make sure that you outline the course. Make sure that you create the first module. Make sure that you actually have people who have signed up for that pilot, right? So there's all of these things that they have to do. So you like to say this all the time, divide and conquer. That's how I see it.
Absolutely. And then once you're up and running, then what's the 20% that you just need to get people into your system, right? Don't spend months and months making a landing page. Spend an hour. It's done. Then just drive traffic there and let it work its magic. Or if that's not the system that's working for you, which one is working for you, and just spend 20% of your time there and getting people moving along through your system.
Just don't find new things to do. Have a system and keep hitting each section of that system.
Shiny objects.
Again, one of the biggest mistakes teachers do after they successfully run a pilot is they say, I just need to, rather than revamp what they already have, they're like, oh, now I just need to create something new. No. Embrace the system. It should be boring, folks. It should be boring. And as Andrew said, create something good that's sellable, that people enjoy, and just find new creative ways of marketing it. That really is essentially all you should be focusing on after a certain point of your company. And some might say even the first 6 months of your company.
But Mike, I need to stop you right there. Haven't you started doing something and then eventually something happens and then you stop doing it? Remember when you used to wake up at 5:30 in the morning to do your...
I wake up at 5.
You're still getting up.
Doing it.
You're still doing it, right?
I'm still doing it. Yeah,
but there were times when you stopped, right?
Those are called drinking sessions. Yeah.
But this is the point. The point I'm trying to make is
that's not the point. The point isn't to be a robot. The point is to have more good days than bad days.
Exactly.
Yes.
But that's the thing, is you have to show up. You have to show up every day. But as I said, sometimes it's really hard for people to do that same thing every day, which brings us to the 4th C. That's where I was trying to get at.
Okay.
Is that we need to have that And this is why I was referring to Mike, because I've also had that. I lost my gym momentum and I'm slowly getting back into it. But you need to have that stubborn consistency up every day. I think that is the secret weapon of every teacher. Because again, consistency is free. You don't have to pay for it. It's just about taking action daily, even when your motivation is out the door.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I think that was one of the ones that really spoke to a lot of the non-TESOL audience. This idea of giving that 1%, right? I think during the original episode, Leo, we were talking a little bit about even when you maybe do go to bed a little bit later, and you don't want to wake up, but you force yourself to get out of bed and you put in the worst workout of your life, but at least you did it. Right? And it's that 1% that helps keep that momentum alive. It's when you don't show up once, get back on it the next day, fine. But if you go 2 days, at that point, it's going to be a struggle to get back. So it's just, you've talked about this lots, Leo. It's 99.9% of all success is just showing again and putting in some sort of effort to move yourself an inch closer to you.
I had a student last week, a Korean guy, really cool, exercises every day. And I asked him, like, every day? You don't miss a day? He's like, no, I can't miss a day. Sometimes I go in the morning, sometimes I go at night, sometimes, but I can't miss a day. And I was like, why every day? He said, because 1 is better than 0. And I was like, and he's like, sometimes the workout's terrible, but like 1's better than 0. So I was like, hey, touche. But Leo, now our time to ask you a question, because I think this is like a concept it's easy to sit here and say this and everyone listening is probably nodding their heads like, yeah, 1% better every day. Obvious. But then life, right?
Oh yeah.
So for you in your gym routine or your exercise routine, going back to, I think it was the first C, what's your North Star? What's your why? Because it's not, I'm sure, not lifting weights, or it's not the actual gym activity. So what is the motivation behind the consistency for you?
I think we're jumping ahead to the 5th C now.
Okay.
So we're getting to the 5th C. So before we jump into the 5th C, which I think it's a great thing that you said that, let's just wrap up the 4th C just so people understand. You need to be consistent. And consistency doesn't necessarily mean you have to post every single day. It means posting 3 pieces of content weekly on social media, or, working on a script twice a week. It's just, even if you feel like no one is engaging, if you feel like you're not getting results, keep going. As you said, Andrew, in the beginning, progress is often I would say it's almost invisible at first. You don't feel like things are happening. The podcast is a very good example of this.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
When we started the podcast, we had like 15 listeners, 20 listeners.
Maybe.
So consistency is
My
important.
mom.
3 of them were us.
Yes. So it was like maybe 9 listeners in the first month. But consistency is important. Stick to your plan, adapt as needed. Don't let setbacks derail you. It's a sprint.
I would also add, just before we move on, that once you are confident in the product that you sell, that you're confident that it works, the next task is to find the system that brings you business. For some people, that will not be social media. And that just triggered me when you said that. Like, if you're posting and the purpose of posting is to bring business in.
Yeah.
If that's not happening, evaluate why. Doesn't mean that social media isn't the strategy for you, but figure out why not.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it is possible to get clients without using social media too.
Yes.
Your job is to find one system that brings you consistent business. And once you find that, be consistent with that.
So